All right, Appalling is a death metal band out of what is it, Richmond, Virginia, somewhere abouts like that, and they play a pretty straightforward style of death metal that is somewhere in between old school, early 2000s, and that sort of evolution of brutality and classicism. Um, I feel like a lot of these people came from a different space when they started out in music. Maybe they played in doom metal bands or stoner metal bands and things that were less rhythmically constrained than death metal demands. So it took them a couple of records to really find the really clean rhythmic standards that death metal needs to be pulled off in this style. They finally get there with this record. It is definitely their best record by far. I think the previous one was just about there, but this one ups the standard a little bit more. You can tell they put more money into it, curating the art and the production values. And the drummer on this one is, well, I mean, just a little bit better. In fact, he sort of dominates the record in a way. Where the previous comparisons I'd made to like Angel Corpse with the band make a little bit more sense now. And what really hit me with this record was like I'd just been listening to Nox and Centurion. It's kind of a regular thing with me. It's one of my favorite bands in that style. And I really got the feeling of Transonic Chaos Gods is the first album from Centurion. So that was an interesting reference to pick me up and get me into this record. But that only really lasts the first couple of songs in this album. They start to blend in the actual their black metal interests a little bit more, and that could range from like a 1349 style riff to like a dark funeral esque sound, and yeah, I make a note in here that there's a little bit of Vader, there's a little bit of Chrysian, maybe there's I felt like the vocals sounded a little bit like a Canarus quartet at times, but overall you're getting a little bit of a late 90s style death metal record, a little bit of a post 2000s death metal record, but at the end of the day, you're getting a death metal record, one that's kind of brutal, has some thrash and heavy black metal influences. Truth be told, the most interesting parts of this record turn out to be mostly the black metal parts. I think they're getting better at that side of it, and it kind of shows here. The thing is that they've kicked up the brutality of the band to the point where I want more of the brutal side of the band to click with the death metal, the black metal side, and it mostly does in the middle of the record and towards the end. But I still found myself wheeling back to the start of the album where they're just kind of the most action, the heavier riffs and all that. So as a death metal fan, I think it's kind of a good pickup if you want something that's Black Death, but not just overly saturated with modern black metal standards. So worth checking out. Again, one of the more interesting records in December. And yeah, read the review if you want more details.